Hi there, and welcome to this Genscape introductory video reviewing our weekly gasoline demand report and supply-side products. Genscape now offers real-time intelligence on refined products prices and demand and provides the industry's only insight into actual refined products rack volumes. My name is Suzanne Evans. I'm the Senior Director for Pricing and Products Development on the oil team here at Genscape, and the supply-side products and weekly gasoline demand report are two of the products that I manage. Genscape has been the leading provider in real-time fundamental data for crude oil since 2009, providing traders and analysts with fundamental insight ahead of the market. The Cushing Storage Report was Genscape's first breakthrough with this, launching insight into Cushing storage inventories 2 full days before the EIA weekly report. And as you know, Cushing storage inventories have a significant impact on CME light sweet crude oil futures. Last month, Genscape extended that competitive advantage into the refined product space with the weekly gasoline demand report. This offers a view of total U.S. gasoline demand 2 days before the Wednesday EIA report, and it uses our supply-side rack transactional data as the basis. The weekly gasoline demand and inventories, which directly affect the price of RBOB, they've proved difficult to predict without a real-time basis for measuring gasoline consumption. Our weekly gasoline report, which is released on Mondays to all supply-side subscribers at 10:30 Eastern Time, provides actionable intelligence on gasoline demand to the market. And the example here in the table is the report we've had for going back to July 8th of this year. It shows you our report where the EIA weekly number came in and then the percentage difference. The EIA publishes a weekly estimate of gasoline demand on Wednesdays. It's called product supplied, and the direction and magnitude of this value directly impacts the RBOB futures price. The product supply number is a calculation that's based on movements from primary storage. And for supply-side subscribers, with this weekly gasoline demand report, Genscape is providing a 2-day preview of this key value before it is released by the EIA. The number is based on actual rack transactions. And if you look at the graph here on the right, we're able to predict this EIA product supplied value within a 1% average of the EIA report. Our gasoline value that's published on Mondays is calculated by aggregating the total U.S. weekly supply-side rack volumes based on the definition of an EIA week, and then we scale that number up using the average difference between monthly historical supply-side rack volumes and the monthly EIA product supplied values. Genscape supply-side products offer the industry's only real-time view into gasoline and distillate demand at the rack, regional, and national level. We offer 2 products in the supply-side umbrella. The hourly prices and volume aggregations are part of the monitor product, and daily average prices and volume aggregations are part of the Analyst product, covering over 400 rack cities across the U.S. As I previously mentioned, the supply-side products are based on actual rack transactions, not estimates. Subscribers to supply-side have access to historical data back to January 2014 and an interactive dashboard. And this dashboard offers views of price and demand trends on a real-time basis, hourly for monitor and daily for analyst, on a week-to-date aggregate basis to compare where we're trending during the week, and a month-to-date basis to compare where demand is trending compared to previous months. And this dashboard example here is an example of the monitor product showing total motor gasoline at the pad level. And you can see here there's average prices on the left and hourly aggregations of volume on the right, showing the change between the 11 a.m. Eastern Hour and the 10 a.m. Eastern Hour on this given day. And with all of our tables in our dashboard, there's a downloadable historical link right here where subscribers can pull the most recent data. So Genscape supply-side data allows subscribers to understand and discover demand trends at a regional level as they are happening in real time. This is an unparalleled view of gasoline demand. The EIA only provides a total U.S. perspective on a weekly basis as the most granular level, while supply-side data offers a hourly or daily view of regional gasoline demand. And it's something that you can't find anywhere else, be able to actually see what's going on pad by pad with these demand trends. Now, unexpected events, occur frequently in the refined products markets, especially weather, and they can have a significant impact on refined products demand. The example here in the graph was the recent flooding in Louisiana last month. We have rack city level volume data, and that on a real-time basis can provide insight into how deeply these unexpected events like flooding or snowstorms can impact rack activity as a measure of gasoline demand in this example on a local and regional level. And you can also see in the data when the recovery in this demand measurement begins. Looking at the graph here, this is looking at all of the rack cities that we cover in Louisiana. And as you can see, with the flooding that started on August 12th, rack activity crashed on August 13th, especially for Baton Rouge, where we saw significant declines in gasoline rack activity. And also this graph shows that several days later, on August 15th, we began to see a recovery in gasoline rack activity. And this is also unparalleled in the industry in terms of being able to see how gasoline and distillate consumption is trending in real time as unexpected events are occurring and then the following recovery that takes place. Being able to predict gasoline demand and gasoline inventories, it allows for a competitive advantage in both hedging and trading strategies for RBOB futures. Having some insight into gasoline demand and a view, it offers a means to predict weekly gasoline inventory changes. And these inventory changes, as you can see in the graph here, they affect the price of RBOB greatly. The graph here is showing the inverse correlation between the change in EIA weekly gasoline inventories for total U.S. and the RBOB futures price 2 hours after the EIA data release at 10:30. And as you can see, we typically see when stocks go up week on week, the price goes down, and vice versa. With the weekly gasoline demand report and the supply side data, we're able to see demand evolve in real time. And having a view of demand allows one to be able to predict gasoline inventory movements several days ahead of the EIA report on Wednesdays. This enhances hedging and trading opportunities and provides our supply side subscribers with a first mover advantage when it comes to gasoline market fundamentals. So how does Genscape gather its data from the supply side product? As I mentioned before in the previous slides, all the volume and price data is based on actual refined products transactions at the rack level. Essentially, when a truck pulls up to a rack and scans a card to load a set volume at a set price, that volume is captured. We then gather that transactional data through data exchange agreements with our third-party vendors, and we aggregate volume and average price at the rack city, state, and pad level. So the foundation for this and what these numbers represent for both volume and price, there are no estimates involved here. They are all entirely based on real-world transactions. For our Monitor and Analyst product, we provide 2 data sets of price and volume data for gasoline and for distillates. Rack level is the most granular level of detail, and it's a collection of rack terminals that then comprise a rack city. Within this data set, there are a few rack cities where there is only 1 supplier or 2 suppliers. We have price information for this group of rack cities, but we do not provide volume information at this level for anonymity purposes. We also have an all-pad data set as part of the Monitor and Analyst products. This is purely volume aggregated at the pad level on an hourly basis for monitor and a daily basis for the analyst product. No data is suppressed here. It is fully reflective of all of the volumes that we are able to gather from our third-party vendors. So a frequent question is, well, how much activity does Genscape actually cover in the supply side product? When comparing it to a couple of key EIA data sets that look at gasoline and distillate demand, on average, Genscape supply side gasoline volume represents about 72% of monthly prime suppliers data and 67% of monthly EIA product supply data. And there's a pad breakdown here for each of these as well. The EIA prime suppliers data set, it's a monthly survey. It usually comes out about 2 months behind, and it's an actual survey of gasoline distributions to the retail level. And products supplied monthly is just like products supplied weekly, except the calculation based on movements for primary storage is done on a monthly basis. So we use this as a basis of comparison to illustrate how much transactional data that we're covering, and we are working with our third-party vendors to increase coverage on a regular basis. The highest regions for coverage, as you can see in these charts here, are PADS 4 and PADS 5. And as previously mentioned, in terms of the rack city coverage with our supply side products, we offer price and volume data for over 400 rack cities in the U.S. on an hourly and daily basis. So if you're interested, please follow this URL for a free trial, and my contact information is here. Thank you very much for listening, and have a great day.